What good is money if you don't have quality of life? What are you working all those long hours for? Why are you loyal to that employer for 10 plus years? Why are you saving and investing while simultaneously allowing your employer, your environment, your family, your failing relationship, allowing all of those things to stress you out? These are questions that I've asked myself. If you can relate, good. This video is for you. But these are questions I've asked myself. And although I am now on the other side of answering most of those questions, I no longer have an employer that stressed me out. I'm no longer in the environment that stressed me out. I no longer associate with people that stress me out. But until a week ago, I was still making decisions that did not contribute to my quality of life or my health, the quality of my health. And I have decided that I want to change that. And I am inspired to make a change right now. You're probably wondering, what the heck am I talking about? I just got back from a faith walk. I just walked about 3.5 miles today. I try to take a walk every day, but I'm not perfect. I would say even on a bad week, I walk at least 3 to 4 days a week, 2 to 3 miles each time. But even with that commitment, I was still doing other things and allowing other things to enter my psyche that will either cause dysregulation in my nervous system, that will increase stress and anxiety. And as a result of those emotions, I was reaching for foods that weren't healthy for me, emotionally eating to self-soothe. I'm guilty of that. I do that a lot. And what has finally clicked in my brain was because I had a follow-up doctor's appointment about, it's been 9 days now, and my fourth post-cancer treatment follow-up. And good news first, I'm still cancer-free. Yay! Still cancer-free. That's the most important thing, still cancer-free. But as my doctor and I were talking about what we're doing with these frequent follow-ups and the purpose of them, she reminded me that once you're diagnosed with cancer and you treat that cancer, you remove the cancer and you treat that cancer, there's a very fragile period afterwards. And based on the subtype that I was diagnosed with, that fragile period is about 5 years after treatment. And during that 5 years, my doctor can't really say that I'm cancer free. What the imaging and the lab work and her examination tells us is that there's no evidence of disease. So each year beyond treatment, the odds of surviving this increases and the odds of a recurrence decreases. So I'm only 1 year out. I'm coming up on 2 years in August when the cancer was removed. Can't believe it's been that long. But what she helped me to understand during that appointment is that my job is to create a body that will be so strong that if the cancer was to recur again, I could fight it. But also to create a body that doesn't provide the environment for cancer to grow. And it made me think about my life in general first. The life I had in the US when I was working a 9 to 5. It's very stressed in an environment that was just not conducive to living a healthy lifestyle. So I had to leave that environment. My first step was leaving the job. And then after leaving the job, then I had space and opportunity to evaluate my environment at large. And I realized it was just too hard to try to be healthy because the food options are not healthy. Even when you try to eat healthy, the things that are in the food, the way the food is grown, it's just hard to eat healthy. We have a diet culture, but that's not a healthy culture. So the next step I made was to leave that environment. You know how the saying goes, you can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. So when I heard my doctor say, I need to create an environment that won't allow the cancer to grow. So my healthy cells can't heal, can't flourish, can't function in the same environment that made them sick. When I made that connection, just hearing her say, it's my job to create a body that's strong enough to fight it, and also to create a body that won't allow the cancer to grow. And of course, her job is to monitor, do all that she can do to monitor so that if it does recur, she will catch it quickly. And then if we catch it quickly enough, then she can treat it quickly. But my job comes first. My job is more important. So while I love my doctors, while I feel like I have the best care team ever, and they're amazing, I've been relying on them too much for my health. And I haven't been doing enough myself to create an environment that won't allow the cancer to grow. So we talked about that. My doctor and I, we talked about that. And which reminds me, that's another thing I love about the doctors here in Malaysia. I don't feel like I'm herded like sheep, like I only have 10, 15 minutes to talk to the doctor. My follow-up appointment not including the scans and the lab work and the waiting. Once I was with the doctor, my time with her was probably about 30, 40 minutes because we got deep in conversation. And she looked me in my face and she said, Malika, you left the United States for a reason. You're here. You did the hardest part. You came here to heal. You cannot keep doing the same things that you were doing that made you sick. Even if that includes staying emotionally connected to what's happening in the United States. I wrote in my threads, I said, I feel like I had one of those, my mama said, I can't play with you no more experiences. Because my doctor said I need to stop reading and watching American news, that I need to stop talking to other people and on social media about that president and what's happening in America because it's not good for my health. It causes stress and anxiety, and it's disrupting my nervous system, increasing cortisol, and that's affecting the environment that will allow the cancer to grow. It's like everything she said, I knew it logically, but to hear her say it, I don't know why, but it just hit different. It's like something clicked in my brain. And in that appointment, it's been 9 days now. So last Thursday, today, I'm recording this video on a Friday, no, it's Saturday. What is time? I'm recording this video on Saturday, I'm saying May. I'm not editing any of this, by the way. Yeah, y'all gonna get this raw, off the dome, the way I'm thinking it, the way I'm feeling it. Which, by the way, this may become a series. I'm going to talk about my health journey and how it's tied to finances. But today is March 21st. Got it right that time. My appointment with my doctor, I saw my doctor on March 12th. So it's been 9 days ago. And in that appointment, something clicked in my brain that hadn't really clicked before. I'm grateful, so grateful to be cancer-free. I've seen her 4 times since treatment. No, 3 times, because my first follow-up was with my doctor in the US. So this is my 4th post-treatment follow-up. I've seen her 3 times. So I've been through the motions of feeling relieved, hearing no evidence of disease. But something was different about that last appointment when she said, create an environment that doesn't allow the cancer to grow. I had a light bulb moment. So since that moment, I have decided I want to commit. I am going to commit, not want to. I am going to commit to doing my very best. My very best. Not saying I'm going to be perfect, not saying I'm going to be regimented, but I'm going to commit to doing my very best to create an environment, a physical environment that won't allow the cancer to grow. I've taken the first step. I've removed myself from the environment that caused me stress. I've left the stressful job. I've left the stressful country. I'm in a place that has easily accessible, healthy, whole foods. Even when the foods are processed, they're minimally processed. They are natural. They're grown here. So they're not preserved with chemicals and then exported way on the other side of the world. So I have access to quality food. I have access to a peaceful culture. I have access to an environment that's safe. All the things that create peace in my life. And the only thing left is me. The choices that I make every single day. And I am happy to say, although this is the first video I'm recording, and I'm going to use these videos now to hold myself accountable. I want you to hold me accountable too. I don't know how often I will record. Probably not every day. Maybe a couple of times a week, sharing updates. But although this is my first video, I am happy to say that from the moment my doctor said that and my brain clicked, something shifted in my brain. It literally shifted my brain chemistry. I have changed my habits. So for 9 days, I have committed to creating a healthy environment and do the very best that I can to make sure the cancer cannot live. And the rest is up to God. But I'm committed, and I have been committed for the past 9 days to do my part. For the past 9 days, I have, well, first of all, I've been fasting. This was a challenge, but it was easier being in an environment with people who were already fasting. I am in Malaysia. This is a Muslim country. So it was Ramadan when I first started. And being around people that are fasting, where fasting is normal, where they were already doing it, and having local friends and talking to friends and getting their guidance and help and tips on what they eat and how do they prepare for the fast to make sure they're not hungry, how do they break the fast. So all of that was easily accessible to me. And I reached out to some friends and they were willing to help me with whatever I needed. I'm not saying these first 9 days have been easy, but each day my body is adapting and it gets easier and easier each day. But for 9 days, I fast. I fast for at least 16 hours. So I try to cut off my last meal. During the time that I eat for an 8-hour period. I call that my refuel period. When I close my fueling period and start my fast, I try to start my fast no later than 8 p.m. There have been a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, where I started my fast around 6:30 p.m. or 7 p.m., but no later than 8 p.m. And then I fast until noon the next day. So I've been doing a 16-8 fast, fasting for 16 hours, eating for 8 hours. The second thing that I've been doing is being mindful about what I choose to eat. And after fasting, it makes me more mindful about what I choose to eat because having gone so long without food, I want to make sure that I give my body nutrients to start the refueling process. So I break my fast with protein. I break my fast with some type of protein, either eggs or chicken or tofu. That's something that's very, very popular here. I'm learning to unwire and unlearn bad things that I've learned in the US. So we've been taught that soy is bad. I realize now that what exists in the US is processed soy. That is bad. And I also understand now that the US had to teach us that soy was bad because it was propaganda that was paid for by the lobbyists of snack companies. Because soy in tofu is a whole food and a natural source of protein. So if we thought soy, the whole food version, the unprocessed version, as a natural source of protein, if we thought that was good for us, tofu is cheap. We would prefer that cheap whole food product over the more expensive processed products. There's a reason why messages are wired into the corporate marketing and the messages that are planted in our heads. So I'm unlearning a lot of things being here in Southeast Asia. So now I'm realizing there's so many different ways to prepare tofu, and it's a natural whole food source of quality protein. Shout out to my Malaysian friends that put me on. But I break my fast with some version of protein. And then in that first meal, I don't restrict what I eat, but I do intentionally eat in a certain order. So breaking my fast with protein, and then I try to eat something that's a good source of fiber. So if I have, let's say, a steak or a burger or something, and then a side salad, I will eat my salad first so I can fill up on the salad just in case I get full too fast before I finish. I want to have consumed the salad first, and then I'll eat the burger or the steak or the chicken or whatever the rest of the French fries or whatever the rest of the meal is. So I prioritize protein and I prioritize fiber. And in order to fast for 16 hours, I also have to consume healthy fats because fat is more satiating. So I'm more intentional about what I include in my meals, but I don't restrict anything. I'm intentional about what I add, but I have nothing that's off limits or restricting. But it's interesting because as a result of adding the nutrients that I need, I have no desire for the junk food I used to eat that was just filler. I'm about to confess. I should be ashamed of this, but I'm not. I used to eat, I got into the bad habit of eating Snicker bars. And here's how it happened. Snack food companies offer different varieties of snacks in other countries that are not in the US. So I had not been eating Snicker bars at all. I just so happened one day saw a Snicker bar and it was like a Butterfinger flavor or butterscotch flavor. I'd never seen that before. And I was like, I wonder what that tastes like. Girl, that one Snicker bar tasting out of curiosity led to a downward spiral. And I started going to the 7-Eleven, which is plentiful on every block in Southeast Asian countries. I started going to the 7-Eleven and buying a butterscotch or Butterfinger, can't remember the flavor, but buying a Snicker bar every single day. Child, sugar addiction is real, and I'm just going to say that. But I'm happy to say for the past 9 days, I have not had a Snickers bar, and I have not had a craving for one either. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it was like day 3 or 4. I was like, has it been 3 days? Has it been 4 days since I've had a Snickers? And I actually shocked myself because I was going to get one every single day. So by adding the nutrients I need and not saying that anything is restricted, nothing is off limits. So that allows my brain to focus on the good stuff and not desire the bad stuff. Because the minute I say it's off limits, that's going to make me want it even more. But nothing is off limits. I'm just eating what I need first. And then if I'm still hungry, or then if I still want a snack, I can have it if I want it. But what I'm finding is I don't even want it anymore. I don't even want it anymore. I do not snack at all in between meals anymore because I'm so full. from the protein first, then the fiber, and then the healthy fats. If I'm eating a salad, I'll add avocado, I'll add chia seeds, flax seeds, all kinds of seeds that are, good sources of fat and also good sources of fiber too. And I'm usually full. And then maybe 6 hours later, I'll have my last meal at the end of my refuel 8 hour window. But in between, I'm not even thinking about food, so I don't even think about snacking anymore. It's it's amazing. So this is not about willpower or determination, or it is a little discipline because I have to be intentional about what I eat. But it's not about willpower because I'm not resisting anything. I just don't desire it. So I just don't buy it. But my next meal is usually the same: protein and fiber first, make sure I add some type of healthy fat, and then allow myself to eat whatever it is that I want. So I've been eating twice a day and then fasting for 16 hours. 1 or 2 days when it was time to break my fast, I wasn't hungry. So I don't force myself to eat when I'm not hungry. And I ended up extending my fast to 18 hours those 1 or 2 days, but that's not usual. I usually am hungry about around the 16-hour mark. But if I can go 18 hours, I'll go 18 hours. I'm not white knuckling it or forcing myself to do it. Now it's just not hungry. But then when I get hungry, I eat a lot. I eat a lot. I'm getting in my protein, I'm getting in my fiber, and I do eat fat. That's another thing that I'm learning to unwire and unlearn as a result of food propaganda in the United States that tells us fat is bad. And that's telling us to use margarine because butter is bad. That was propaganda by the food lobbyists. Ugh, I hate the way we have been brainwashed for profit. That's really what it is. But being here in Southeast Asia, I'm learning. I'm learning the truth about what's good for me and what's not. It's almost 5 o'clock, so the sun is setting. That's why the lighting shifted. But I'm relearning how to eat. I'm relearning what foods are really healthy. There's unhealthy foods here too, but I'm learning how to choose what's good for my body so I can create an environment that won't allow the cancer to grow. Um, in addition to eating better and fasting, I do the walking. Even if I don't walk every day, on a bad week, I'm still walking 3 to 4 days a week. So light work, not doing anything strenuous. I'm hoping over time, as I reduce inflammation and, feel better, my joints don't hurt anymore. Maybe I can do more strenuous activity and maybe one day I can lift weights. I don't know, but that'll be in the future. I'm not pressed about doing anything that's uncomfortable right now. I don't want this to be uncomfortable and regimented and require a lot of willpower and motivation to stick to it. Mm-mm. That's not what I want to do. But what I have been doing, it feels good. It feels good and it feels natural to me. And it feels like something I can maintain. And I like it. And I like it. My sleep is improving. I still got this big old gut here, but I feel like the top of my gut is going down a little bit. I need to take some pictures based on where I am right now, so I can have something to compare it to. I'm not on a weight loss journey. I'm not trying to lose weight, but of course, weight loss is a byproduct of not eating a Snickers bar every day. It's a byproduct of choosing to break my fast with protein and to make sure I get in fiber. It's a byproduct of intentionally walking several times a week for several miles each time. So the weight loss will come because of the choices that I'm making, but the weight loss is not even my priority. My priority is creating an environment to make sure that cancer cannot grow. I'm so grateful that my doctor said those words that I needed to hear. And I'm so grateful for the medical team that I have. And I'm grateful for the care that I receive here in Malaysia. And I'm inspired to do what's in my control and to try my very best to be healthy. Because after all, what's the point of the money without your health? I told my doctor, I'm grateful to be cancer-free because I don't want to live a long life and be sick. Even if the cancer doesn't return, I don't want to live a long life and have other ailments like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or diabetes. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, all of it, even though I'm borderline all of it. But all of it, I don't want that. I don't want to live long and be sick. I don't want to live into my 80s and 90s and can barely move or get around or need help from other people to feed me, to give me a bath, to put my clothes on. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live that long if that's what quality of life looks like. I would rather live a short, full, happy, active life than to live a long life where the last 15 years I'm sick and dependable on nursing for help. I don't want that. But of course, the best of both worlds is to live long and healthy. But that's not even my priority either. I just want to be healthy and leave the rest up to God, however long He assigns me to live on this earth. While I'm here, I want a full quality of life. So, yeah, that's what this series is going to be about. I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. Have any suggestions? Let me know. Uh, don't know how often I'll post, but I want to share my journey with you to keep myself accountable because the money does not matter if you don't have quality of life. I thank you for watching. Until the next update. Bye for now.